ready to do this? This is a big one.
Yeah. I'll try my best.
So
be good for you.
You are known as Jacob Conrad Messmer?
Yes, because half this community knows me by Conrad Messmer until I was like, I don't know, driver's license age, and all my buddies and high school friends and everybody in, QHS was like, what? Your first name is Jake? What? What in the world? What? So, and then I had to start using the other name.
So you were known as Conrad Messmer first?
Yes.
In life?
Yeah.
And then over time it became Jake Messmer?
Yeah.
But you could still go by Jake or Conrad?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, it's like, I feel very sympathetic to
and then
this.
I'm the, technically, I mean, I'm the only one now, but I was the sixth Jake, so that's like what that was about, or Jacob, or whatever. So.
In your lineage?
Yeah, lineage.
You're the sixth?
Yeah.
Any juniors or just sixth?
Just sixth, yeah.
Sixth Jake.
But I threw a curveball and I said, I'm not going to let my son deal with some of the, like same male, same name, same whatever. So then I was like, my son's being named something else. So.
I did something very much like that. So I'm the third Francis.
Gotcha.
And when I had a son, I named him Valentino. So I wasn't having it. Which is really funny though.
Well, I just watched Mission Impossible and I was like, I like that E name and that, so we're going with that.
So
strong character, strong name. So.
This, you handed me a picture.
Yep.
And I'm going to show it to one of the cameras here. Shane, our producer, told me that we may be able to pick up on that possibly, but if not, I'm probably going to have to throw it in the Facebook comment section so people can see this.
That's fine.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
What is this?
So that is like more or less cancer everywhere that you see black.
Everywhere that I see black is cancer.
Yeah.
And this was inside of you.
Yes, that monster was inside of me. Yeah.
When? How long ago?
So that was pretty much exactly a year ago, like September. Well, it was in me before I found out, but I found out September 1st of last year, so September 1st, 2024.
What I'm looking at here is this, what kind of scan is this? Is this?
So that's a PET scan. So PET scans are used for two medical things, one being like the one major thing being mainly like cancer scans. So most of the time, like if you have, like say you have lung cancer, they'll scan your lungs with a PET scan, they'll scan, wherever whatever. But in this case, they had to put me in the entire machine because it was everywhere, because that's what lymphoma is your lymph nodes, and your lymph nodes are everywhere throughout your body. So
This is a very scary looking picture. It's
it was one of those, like when I had been in I was in Siteman Cancer Center, Barnes Hospital, and when the doctor said, oh, this is very, very serious, we're going to have a talk with you and we're going to show you the scan and picture, you kind of are just like, okay, because you've already been through, like I had already been through a week of hospital stuff at that point, and I was kind of just like, okay, it hadn't really, like kind of hit me, I guess. And then we all said, can we see it? And he showed us it all, and it was like, that was the moment that was like, I know you can't curse on the show, but that was the moment that in my brain I was like, what in the world? So.
Well, in one of your texts to me, you told me that you don't curse unless it's something extremely big, extremely intensive, and even then you don't really like to do it.
Right.
But does the word rhyme with duck? Don't say what the word is,
right.
But does it rhyme with that? Okay. Can I tell you, when I'm looking at this picture, this looks so bad to me. So can I just ask you a personal question about this?
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
When you looked at this scan, where I see your body from your waist up, I can kind of see where your hands are kind of collapsed, maybe in front of you. It looks like your arms are together. It's from about your waist to the top of your head.
Yeah.
And it is like a white background, and all of the dark areas is cancer, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It looks like
some of that's in my organs, because I was already at aggressive stage. They use either non-aggressive, because lymphoma is pretty common, or they use aggressive, and aggressive is the one you don't want, and so I was already aggressive or stage 4 by that point. So
this is one of the worst pictures I've ever seen. It's covering parts of your hips. Your abdomen is completely full. Looks like every single organ is covered in it. It looks like it's up in your heart, your lungs, all your lymph nodes, in your shoulders.
Yeah, it was all in my neck. It was in my neck. Yeah.
It's in your neck. It's not in every single area. It's just in most places.
Right, most. That's the key word right there.
Most.
Yeah, right.
You had cancer almost everywhere. So we're going to go into the kind of cancer that you had, but when you saw that scan, what did you think?
It's kind of like I tell people, in a weird way, it was like an out of the body, like, oh, everything stopped and you're like over here, and then you see like yourself and the situation, and you're just like just then like everything stops. Like not to try to sound bad about this, but like you're like nothing really matters except for like you either decide and trigger yourself, okay, I'm gonna give up now, like, or you decide I'm not gonna give up, and this ain't gonna beat me. And if you like, there was a story that was simultaneously happening in the big culture, which was, some people know him, some people don't, but Jeremy Renner, plays Hawkeye in the Avengers, Hurt Locker, whatever, Mayor of Kingstown. And I was paying attention to that story, and he had just been in an accident. And if you read his book, he says it a different way with a few explicitives, but like, he's like, you know, this is not gonna happen today, you know. And I kind of felt like that. Like, you can either say, oh, I'm gonna just let it be, because the words, after I look at this scan and after it's shown to us, the words that the doctor said was, if we don't figure this out or do something, you're not gonna make it to 2025. But you're in the right spot. You're in the right spot, and we feel you're in where you need to be, but you might not make it through Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
So then it's just like, then at that moment, like everything just stops, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna decide to live right now. That's just my, like, simplify the simple and just say I'm just gonna just like take in, like, just be like, you know, grateful that I'm here and process this, because that was like, you have to process it, like, you know, so. Okay,
are you telling me that when you looked at that scan with all of that I'm looking at right now, are you telling me that was your first reaction that your words to yourself were, I'm going to live?
Well, my first reaction was the other reaction that we just, you know, said we can't say on air, but the moment after was like, okay, everything stopped. Like, okay, I don't care if I, like, not try to sound bad about this, but I don't care if I work again. I don't care if I have another bill. I don't care if I, whatever. It's like all, like, you know, whatever, you know, like, I don't care about my car, wherever it's at, you know, kind of thing. It's kind of like, I have to decide right now to either say, you know, this monster already won, and I'm just gonna see what happens, or I'm just gonna, like, have the mentality like, we're gonna just keep on fighting or be strong through this and not give up, you know.
That's incredible.
And that's kind of like the mindset. I just decided to say, like, okay, I don't know if I'll make it or not, because then you have to decide, then you have to kind of have that, I don't know what you would call it or what kind of word, but you have to have that acceptance of, okay, like, you have to, like, go through your brain of just the acceptance of death and kind of process that for a minute, you know. And then once you process that, okay, like, that could be in the cards, that could be part of this, like, then you just say, but I'm gonna, like, still fight through it as much as I can.
Is it like kind of how you accepted it, but you were gonna fight?
Right.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. That's called bravery.
That's like one of my shirts, because I went through, like, cancer foundations and had different foundations I had to reach out to for family help and all that stuff. But I have several shirts now and several things. But this one says, together we turn fear into courage. And I honestly feel like that's what happened. Like,
What kind of cancer was this?
so this is in the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma family.
Okay.
So that's a pretty like common cancer. Lymphoma is pretty beatable, but the one that I had, as we can see from this photo, is what they call like what I told you, which is like EVBS, if I get this right or whatever.
So I cheated.
Okay.
I'm bringing my texting app, my phone.
Anyway,
over here.
I call it large cell B lymphoma, which is the easy way of saying it.
Can I read out loud what you wrote to me earlier?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
You and I were kind of talking about this. I knew I was going to kind of put you on the spot and say what kind of cancer. When you wrote me, can everyone see this? This whole huge long thing here. It's just kind of like picking up this photo. If you can't see the photo, it's just cancer all over the body, all inside the body. Here is what you wrote to me. You wrote, the kind of cancer I had was called EBV, positive diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, not otherwise specified EBV plus DLBCL NOS, but rather a rather rare large B-cell lymphoma of multiple sites of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma family. It is a rare type that affects 3,000 or less people. It's very, very aggressive when it's active, and if not treated with extreme treatment, it will usually be fatal. There is treatment and recovery, and usually the patient ends up dealing with all of the after chemo symptoms for the rest of their life. And if not caught soon enough, it can be like my situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my situation was, hey, here's where it's at. It's all over you. And then they went into where it was and how it's like in 6 organs already, and and
Stage 4?
Yeah, and your whole body is in shock. Like I had, and this is another part of it, is here I am alive, laying in this hospital bed, got like so many things coming out of me you can't believe. And what they keep telling me, and what my partner and my 2 moms are most worried about, is they keep saying, you are acting like normal, and can you realize that your heart rate is 155?
Were you?
Which is like a marathon runner.
Yes. If my heart rate goes 155, I am struggling.
Right?
Were you aware that your heart rate was that high?
Well, I mean, there's a thing that I tell people that kind of relates to like the other book that I was talking about too, and Jeremy Renner's story, which is people that have gone through this, and I've kind of talked to some other people too, and it's kind of like the more information you obtain, and I think this is a human thing too, is like the more information we have and the more information our brains chug in, like we kind of like let go of some things that are happening to us,
Okay.
I guess, if you follow
Sure.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because like then that takes the fear away. So I kept telling myself, okay, the more I get told by these nurses or doctors or am talking about this or whatever, is just going to keep like my mentality going. But then like I eventually decided to like look at who else was in the room and who else was going through this, and the love around me. And I kind of then realized like, oh crap, like there is like some bad stuff like that I should probably have some emotions about, like.
Were you, when you were going
Because
through
like
the
I could have had a
process,
heart attack is what I'm trying to get at.
You could have had a heart attack. But on the exterior, your family is telling you, what were they saying? That you're too calm?
Yeah.
But internally, you're on fire.
Right. Yeah. And that's.
And so you had this calm exterior. I'm trying to picture.
Right.
You're painting a very good picture of what was going on. Okay, I'll tell you. I don't know what the average person would do in that situation.
Well, and then I just kind of kept that mentality. I was like, I can fight this in my mental, just other self over here. Why put everybody else around me through it. But there was a few moments along the way that I realized, okay, I gotta share this moment with the people that are having the ripple effect, and stuff. And then there was a few moments even with the nurses and the other caregivers and things like that I had, that I felt like, okay, because and I know that you came to, our assistance as well, but like the benefit, like somebody brought up that idea, and I'm not one to be like wanting to do that and
right.
for whatever.
Right.
So then, but to experience those things, you have to sometimes like be like, okay, like I need to take that moment, like I need to take that moment to connect to whoever is loving me that much, because that's part of getting through it. I tell people 2 things got me through this, which was like my faith or my courage mentality, like the mentality we're talking about, and then the love part of it, so.
Yeah, I mean, I have
if I didn't have either one of those things, I don't know if I'd even be around.
I think we're going to get into the love aspect at some point here, but I still kind of want to just talk a little bit about like the beginning stages. How did you find out? What brought you into the doctor that day? What event happened? Something happened to you,
right. So,
that didn't seem right.
Right. So to backtrack to like, the birth of the baby, give or take, is so in like May, June, and I had been raised in a family of like hard workers, like hardworking, and hey, you get up, you do the job, and then if you get sick, you just still show up and you get through it, So, but I've also been fairly healthy up to this point too. So like I hadn't been hospitalized really for anything except for like a minor car accident one time and sports injury.
How old are you?
And stuff like that. A couple of years shy of 40, believe it or not. So, and that was the thing. I was fairly healthy and everything anyway, but I would always just, if I'd get sick, like I'm talking like runny nose, high fever, regular, even COVID, I say, or whatever, you just get over it, just get through it. Yeah. So I started to feel that way, like in May or June, and it like had spikes, like in the beginning of summer.
To where you kind of didn't feel well?
Yeah, but I was like, I kind of just turned my back to it because that's what I had always done.
Ignored it?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie about it. Like, because it's more of like, oh hey.
What were the feelings?
What
was it?
It was just like, again, like coughing and like regular cold symptoms and things like that.
Okay.
So then they would go away, but they would come back really quickly. Like it's like you take cold medicine and then like a week later it's back and you're like, what is...
How could I have a cold again?
Right. So you kept, like I would keep getting, sick like off and on, And I still at this point was like, whatever, I'm going to plow through because that's the way I was taught was, okay, hey, you just, get through everything and you do your job, you do your work, you do your stuff, So what it really was is then you fast forward to like August because that kept going on and I just kind of ignored it for 2 months. I ain't going to lie about it. And I would never do that again. That's what I tell people, like don't mess around with anything is what I've learned from that. But I had went to work or coming back home from work because I'm in the trucking industry or whatever. So I was coming back from, route and delivery and all that stuff. And there's these like electrical lines like that you just connect a truck to the trailer and it's like no big deal. You just pop them off with your hand. I don't even know, probably a couple pounds. I don't know, like lifting this, And I had gotten out, 3 steps of safety, as we say, and I felt like off, like I felt totally off kilter, like I felt out of breath and off and everything like that. And
was it anything? Because this is the thing. This is the part that always freaks me out. So whenever I'm on blood pressure meds.
And I'm not on any medication.
You're on 0?
Yeah.
So I'm on more medication than you right now? Oh,
well,
great.
no, I'm on some medication now, but I'm saying that in the story here, when I popped the airline off, that
how when you say that you didn't feel right, you didn't feel well, so it's shortness of breath, any headaches?
Like there was a slight headache. There was a massive sweating going on. Like I'm
Really?
talking like
Okay.
like it was like sweating. Like I'm
Profusely
like,
sweating.
Yeah, like and I'm not even doing it.
Just like just dripping?
Yeah, like I'm not even like But I found out later. Well, when your heart rate's at a certain point, and your mentality and your body's just saying go ahead and get through this, your body has to do something. So it's kind of like I tell people it's kind of like now I know how Jesus sweated blood, because you just kind of your body's at that extreme point to where you just
Oh my gosh.
it has to fight something,
I mean, oh my gosh.
right?
Yeah.
So that's what it was doing.
Wow.
And so anyway, I go to pop this off, and I totally pull my whole,
You popped what off?
like the airline.
You popped the airline off?
Yeah, which is just a easy peasy. I'm talking no tension really.
A pretty
Shouldn't
easy
be-
task.
Right. Shouldn't have no problem.
Have you done it before?
Oh yeah, thousands of times.
Thousands of times.
Yeah.
What
thousands of
happened?
times. I mean, I've been in the trucking world for 16 years, so yeah, thousands of times.
Okay.
And well, actually, it was this hand. So I usually hold it with this hand and pop it off like that, and this whole arm like tingle all the way through. Felt like I had like broken it or pulled something. It was so painful.
Your left arm?
Yeah.
What happened?
So up here, where on this picture you see all this cancer.
Yes. So right here,
Yeah.
on the left,
Yeah, right
up
here.
in the left shoulder,
Yeah.
kind of this area right here. As
me and you
riddled
know,
with cancer.
it's dead cells, and so it's also eating away at everything else, and it makes your other cells and everything else really, really, really weak. So at this point already, my body shouldn't be doing anything.
Shouldn't be doing no work, right?
Right.
So what happens?
And I don't know about this. Like I don't know what's inside there.
Oh man.
And yeah, what happened was I had pulled out my whole shoulder and everything.
You pulled your shoulder out.
Yeah, like I had broke a couple tendons up here.
You ripped your shoulder out.
I had to heal all the tendons up here.
From just releasing
An
air valve.
Right. And come to find out as time went on, as we see from the scan, that's what.
So that happens. At that point.
So then I was supposed to go over and help my bonus mom, I call her instead of stepmom, but my stepmom or whatever. And I was supposed to go over to her house and like hang out with her and help her with a few things and stuff like that. So I get over there and hey, my whole thing's messed up here, and I say I'm not going to be working and blah blah blah. And then she sees me white in the face. And 2 years before this, I'm standing at a table like this, but more or less picture a dining table, like a dinner table. And that's how, so I come into her house, I'm like by the dinner table, and I'm explaining this to her, and she's like looking at me like looking at me like something's majorly wrong, And she's like, I want you to sit down right now, and we're gonna get you to the doctor, and I'm gonna first give you a whole bunch of water. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll sit down, whatever. And I say, what's going on? And she goes, you are sick. Your son has told you you're sick. Your partner's told you you're sick. Your other mom's told you you're sick. We need to figure out what's going on with you, and I'm going to take you to a doctor. That is my doctor, which is apparently your doctor too, but everybody's doctor. Yeah. But anyway, but long story short.
He's a good doctor.
Yeah, long story short, what ended up happening was she says to me later, not at this moment, she just gets me water and then we get in her vehicle and we go to the hospital, but later she tells me that the thoughts in her brain was 2 years before this, my dad had passed down at the same table and then he was gone. So she told me she wasn't going to have that happen again. So you talk about people you affect with something like this, or the ripple you have, or the love you have. Yeah. And like I said, I'm at the same table. She's looking at me. We had just had, like I said, a couple of years before this, had my dad just pass out, and then 2 weeks later he was gone. So she tells me later, she's like, I had all the strength in the world to say, hey, this isn't what's going to go down,
Wow. Thank goodness for bonus moms.
Right? That's what I have told her till this day. I have told her that till this day.
So do you mind me asking?
Because she then ended up taking me and said, you need to request to see Dr. Wallace. And I said, okay, like whatever. And
Did you say Wallace or Wollaston?
what you said, yeah.
Wollaston?
Yeah. And so what ended up happening was then, like I had told you before we started this, was what ended up happening was then he said, you are very, very sick. We're going to do some specialized CAT scans. We're going to get you in the ER. You know, we're not going to just give you medicine and let you leave here, period, end of story. You know, like, because that's what was happening. Like, I'd get a cold medicine and end up leaving and a week later feel better, because that's what medicine's going to do, right? It's going to make you feel better, but it's not going to fix that.
No, it's not going to fix that. So your bonus mom takes you to the doctor, and
I get admitted to the ER of Blessing.
You got admitted to the ER, straight to the ER.
Yeah, QMG, yeah, Blessing, yeah.
Okay, and so was Wollaston there at the ER
talking
to you about these things?
Him and then Dr. Kim, yeah.
Dr. Louis Kim?
The Asian
Yeah, great doctor. Yeah. I know both those men. They're really good men.
No, they are.
And the way that they... Very high quality people.
Because it was, you know, like, at this point, behind the scenes, families getting notified, mom, like I have a biological mom and a bonus mom, and they then go on the whole, hey, tell the important people, let's figure, because, hey, who knows what's going to happen to him, but it's pretty serious, you know. So, so then they come back. My mom drove a pretty good, significant time. I'm not going to, you know, put her on the spot, but she came from St. Louis really quickly. So you know, so she needed a police escort or something like that. So yeah, it was my mom, my partner, and my bonus mom all in the ER room, and the two doctors came back in, and Dr. Kim was the one that then explained to us, you know, we want to care for you, we want to do what's right, but there's a but, you know. And I don't know how you want to kind of say that. But.
No, essentially, so you got a guy like Dr. Kim and Dr. Wollaston who are looking at you, and they're like, okay, the planet is very big. The Earth is very big. There are places all over. There are people who go to Germany. I have a friend that went to Germany for something. I have a friend that went to Mayo Clinic for something. I've had a friend who drove himself all the way to Cleveland Clinic to do something. Sometimes people go to Barnes Jewish Hospital. What they were pretty much thinking is, okay, we're not going to limit you to Quincy. We're going to give you here are all the options that.
Well, and at this point, there's no pictures being shown to me. There's just
you still haven't seen this yet?
Right, no. The words that were told to me was, this is very, very serious, and it's all over your body.
Okay.
But we have to get you, like you said, not be limited. We got to get you where you can get the like proper or expert care.
Where they're doing
specific,
this
right.
kind of work
right.
every moment of the day.
Right.
People are looking at pictures like this. Well, actually not pictures like this. No.
So then there was two options.
Okay.
There was an option that was longer miles or whatever, but then there was then Washington University, Barnes Hospital, AKA within that is one of the best cancer facilities in the country, Siteman Cancer Center.
Okay.
So you know, and like we said, you know, that's kind of, here's the experts that might know what to do with this and are going to probably, hopefully, like figure this out, but you need to be there. And so now it was then, okay, we're stuck in we're all like me, and of course then my mom who's from St. Louis is like, well, I just hightailed it up here, so I can just throw him in my car and hightail it back. No, he has a heart rate of like 160, so we're not going to let you do that.
And so your heart rate is that high because that's what your body has to do to fight?
Right, yeah.
And was it always that high? Like when you were sleeping?
So until I got some proper medications and like had like 6 IVs in me and different fluid things, and we can get into that, but I had a whole bunch of stuff stuck in me once I got to Siteman, and until they started pumping some junk out of me and putting good stuff in, I call it the good stuff, but we all know, you know, it's the nice drugs. you know, I kind of, yeah, like was still sweating, high heart rate, couldn't sleep, I had a whole bunch of problems. So.
How long do you think from the time that in your subconscious you got some type of sign or signal from your body that says that I'm in trouble? From that very, very, very first sniffle that never really went away. It went away for like a little bit, but then it came right back. From that moment that your body gave you that sign to the time that your bonus mom took you in.
Like, that's my moment. I'm like, if she wouldn't have took me in, I don't know, or said, hey, you need
this
to,
is,
like, you know,
I need to figure this out for myself now. I want to know how much time went by from the first sign that even your like deep, deep subconscious is saying, all right, Jake, we got a problem here. To the time that your bonus mom made you go into the doctor, how much time went by?
Well, time from there, I'd probably say good 3 months, I would say.
3 months?
Yeah, 3 months.
Okay, and then during those 3 months, are your symptoms getting worse that you can see?
Yeah.
Okay.
And everybody around me too, because like the sweating was the worst. Now, I'm a clean guy. I'm pretty organized, like you seem to be too. You know, whatever. You know, but you know, we don't smell, or at least I can't smell you. You know, right now. But anyway, the thing is that you know I carry some of that stuff with me because when you get into the truck lifestyle, you kind of just decide either you're going to be a slobby trucker or you're going to be a cleaner trucker, you know. So I kind of carry the toothbrush and the smelly stuff and whatever.
Sure.
So I keep myself whatever. And when I couldn't get a handle on that, and you have a kid at your like gaming with on your couch, and he's like, you're dripping on me, like hello, like Dad, you're sick, like you're dripping on me, or you have your like, you know, partner in crime or whatever, say, hey, I got to change the sheets of the bed every day because, like, you know, it's not because of, you know, anything else. It's because of, oh, hey, when I get up in the morning, it looked like a dead body had just laid there, not to be gross, but that's just what, you know.
Wow. So that's fascinating.
And I was like, I was just like trying to just get through.
You know, you kind of remind me of my dad, Walt, a little bit. He can have a gash of like just an open gash on his leg. And he'll come in, this has happened before, and my mother will say, Walt, you're bleeding. You're bleeding all over the place. What are you doing? He goes, huh, what? Oh, okay.
I'm just working through it.
I don't care. Like, he's thinking to himself, I mean, he doesn't even feel it. Like, so,
well, and
do you have any German in you?
I have German and Irish, and what they told me,
it might be that.
What the doctors and the exam people, because then you get the Siteman, and they really like they are like, you know, research teams, and I was put through the ringer because like you said earlier, it's like under the 3,000 person mark. So then you get like, you know, these research people wanting to talk to you, all these different things helping you, you know, so which I'm thankful for and I'm grateful for, but. You know, one of the things is that you just you figure out the pain tolerance. And one of the funny stories I have that I tell people is when like in the hospital they say, "Tell me your pain," and I say okay, and they
You're
say
the one person to ask.
Right,
No offense.
right, no, it is because then I say, "What am I supposed to tell you?" Because then I would say like a number that would be, "Oh no, sir. Tell us 1 to 10. I said 1 to 10.
What would you say?
Like I was like you're supposed to put it in between 1 and 10, like you know, like.
So you don't even know.
And then that's when then like doctors and research people were like, he must have a high pain tolerance because like they told me like my pain was like off the charts, like, and like I would tell them that, like I would say. Like I'm in like a lot of pain. So then we had to figure out a system because like there was, like I was way past the 10 mark. You know, I was like in the 1,000. Like, hey, this is painful. But then like when I did have spikes, because there was some moments where they did certain things to me. Like they had to like so this portion here around my waist and here right here by my leg right here. Okay. There was a large lymph node that kept growing of cancer cancerous.
Okay.
And they figured.
And was it protruding out like you could see it visibly?
Oh yeah, like it was swollen up, like
It was coming like anybody who was looking at you
and
could
then
see
it
it?
stopped. And then it stopped fluid. So then all my fluid was out of whack. So then like I turned into this like '80s monster creature. I feel like
Oh
my
gosh.
son called me the Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters,
Okay.
because like I had one leg that was like an elephant, and then this leg would decide to be skinny, and that foot decided to not be, and that was exciting.
Oh my gosh.
But then what they decided to do, because they kept giving me different things that like, well, how's your pain now? Or what's, we got to figure this out, or we got to get you stabilized. Because that was the first goal. Like, just get this guy normal, like with this thing inside of him. And then they finally decided, they said, well, we should take a chunk out of you. And that's not how they said it. They said, we're going to do surgery and take a piece of the cancer out of you, because we feel like we need to research and figure out what's going to kill this thing, So I said, well, what are the options there? Because like that means I'm going to be cut open and blah, 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 So they said, well, there's this big piece up here, and there's this.
There's the big piece up by the neck.
Right, there's the but then they're like, these are all your organs, so we don't want to mess with that.
This is insane. In your abdominal area,
Yeah.
this is scary.
Yeah, so then they said, well, this right down here, so right here, there's no.
So down in your.
Like they called it.
Where your hip meets.
They called it groin, but I say it's a hip and thigh kind of.
Okay, groin, hip, thigh, like. Up.
But there's nothing that connects. It wasn't connected to anything.
What do you mean?
Well, like they could cut me open, take it out, and then, hey, you're good to go. Like.
Oh, it was just sitting there?
Yeah.
Oh, really? So did they do that?
Yeah, that's what happened. So you're talking about, a little gash on your dad or whatever.
Yeah.
I have a big old scar right here.
Okay.
Because,
they pulled that thing right out?
Because, they cut me open, took that piece out, and then that's where, like, things got interesting. They were able to, like, examine that piece, take it to the lab, figure out what would kill it, what would not kill it, and they came up with, like, the chemotherapy plan off of that.
What kind of, do you know what kind of chemo they gave you? Well,
I mean, yes, it was. So different chemos or different concoctions depending on the cancers you have. I could give it to you later to put in like the Facebook comments or something or whatever.
What was the regimen?
It was, but what it was is that they said it was going to be, well, this is aggressive, so we have to be aggressive too, and based off of your age. You haven't had any other health issues, luckily,
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of other reasons. They said, we think if we do this plan, which is an aggressive attack on it, with this concoction we've made, start out like everything. And I said, well, what does that mean? And they said, well, usually we have people do that outpatient. And we started out like outside the hospital at like every like 2 or 3 weeks, And I said, well, that's not what you're really saying that you're going to do, because you're saying, oh, that's what we usually do. So what are you going to do with me, And so they said, we're going to actually already start that now, and then we're actually going to do what's called, which, people get them, but I tell people this was a lot different. Like my uncle has gotten a lumbar thing done to him, but he saw that I was completely different or whatever than his experience was. So I ended up getting what was called lumbar chemo as well, which is chemo in the back, where they like flip you upside down and have it drain to your whole body, and then they lay you back down, and you have no feelings like from like your waist down. And you hope that when you get up that you're not in pain, but I was, so.
Were you?
Yeah, like a lot. And then it makes you nauseous, and then like me and you talked about, you get to go through all that fun, trying to rush around. And there was after one lumbar chemo thing that I was supposed to go, like, I was able to get out of my room, go get a meal or go get an actual lunch, like sit down. There was an Applebee's or whatever connected to the hospital, and like I didn't even make it to the I didn't even like the nauseousness and the pain and everything. Yeah.
So for you to say that you had a lot of pain, that means that you were in a lot of pain.
Right.
Because normally, when you're in just a normal amount of pain that would kill somebody else, it doesn't even affect you. When you're gaming, you're playing video games. This is incredible.
And everybody through the whole process, like the nurses and doctors said, well, he has tattoos all over him, so he must have a high tolerance. And then I have learned because this one right here is a one for lymphoma. It's just time and green hourglass. It's my lymphoma tattoo. But the pain for that, and I'm telling everybody right now, okay, everybody gets tattoos all the time. This pain, I don't wish on anybody.
I mean, so you were already past the 10 scale earlier when they asked you what your pain was. So
right.
This pain from the chemo, isn't it a complete world of its own?
Yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah.
Like hell?
Well, and it hits you like let's fast forward a little bit. I mean, I was in the hospital for almost like 40 days too. So 40 days, 40 nights. And I get released at the beginning of middle of October, and then that's when like I came back and there was the benefit and stuff like that. But
so
what people don't know is like what happened like from that end of October to January was a whole bunch of cancer treatments, and what that means is that then you go and you get to have the party with yourself and sit in a chair and just have a drip of chemo going into you, and that's not a big deal. So
Did you say a party with yourself?
Well, I mean, you get to read a book, you get to do whatever. I don't know. You get to have somebody else that has an IV in next to you. So hey, what can you do but hang out with folks? I mean, I will say.
I mean, your perspective blows me away.
I will say one of the best people I met was like this 80-year-old lady, or probably she was older. I don't know. She was very old, gray-haired, everything. And she just, has her little book or tablet thing that she's reading off of, and well, what do they got you in here for? What do they got me in here for? It's kind of like that. What are you in here for? That's how you start the conversation.
Like prison.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Right. Right. So then after you kind of get the ice broken with that, you go into finding out like that person's story. And like my story is way far different, because here's this lady and she tells me like this is her. And I say, what do you mean by that? And I said, oh, I wake up, I get my water or coffee, and I come to my chemo treatments and meet whoever's in the next chair, and I've been doing this for the last I don't know, 20 years, because all my grandkids are grown and whatever else. And I'm like, then that just throws yourself for a loop when you're in my situation. You're just like, okay, like then it kind of, and those moments told me just like simplify the simple. And that's what I tell people all the time. Like I now tell people, hey, you got too much white noise in your life. You aren't simplifying the simple. You aren't like grateful for the gratitude of the situation or whatever. Like that moment right there told me those three things,
Wow.
So
are you taking any chemo right now?
No. I am actually, believe it or not, fully in remission.
Oh my gosh.
And
I didn't
on the other side of this. So like if I would have brought a picture of the scan now, because I just recently got one.
Okay.
So this is like 90% the wrong way.
This is, the original one that we're talking about
is like 90% the wrong way.
90% the wrong way.
Now what I am is like 90% the right way, believe it or not.
Wow.
Which is like all like a lot of white. There's still some black, of course, in the abdomen area that they're kind of monitoring or watching.
But it's not creating a problem?
No, yeah.
So you're in.
And now it's just what I have. I tell people there's the event, which was like we talked about, kind of the hospitalization of it, and the whole like getting past. And then there's the treatment. Like there's part 2, which is the treatment, which then is then you get past January 1st, 2025, and you're like okay, like we're here and we're whatever and all that. And then you get to spring, and then you get to summer, and the sun's out, whatever, and you're like, and then you get a scan that's almost clear, and then I call what stage I'm in now, which is the recovery stage.
Wow.
And more than likely, I'll probably be in this stage for quite some time. I mean, because there's stuff wrong with, not to try to sound weird about it, but there's a whole bunch of abdomen, weight, issues with food, and I have to watch things I eat, and just a whole bunch of things with that. And then one of the things I walked away from, but I still am okay, is that I get neuropathy a lot, which is tingling and feeling like you're hit with needles in your hands and feet and whatever.
Okay.
So that's a pretty common after chemo thing.
Okay,
So,
sure.
and just different things like that. But I've kind of learned the new Jake or the new Conrad or whatever after this is kind of I take it at a pace, and I take things at a pace, and I kind of ask myself a couple things before I do something, or I kind of just be more prepared, or look ahead at a different perspective of things than just kind of plowing through, I guess.
So when you wake up in the morning and you realize that you're still here, because when I see the scan and
Right.
the things that, when you tell me the things that were happening to you,
Yeah, and I just
that
to be
kind
real
of-
with you, I fluctuated almost 120 pounds. I lost all my hair, and I'm not talking just top of the head, everywhere. I felt to be real with people, I tell people my caregiver, because she was a retired nurse, was my mother, so I stayed there, because she lives by Siteman Cancer Center in St. Louis. So I stayed there with her and my bonus dad, and there were certain days I was there and got up and just didn't feel it, just didn't and
didn't feel what?
well, just didn't it was the pain, the agony of the whole situation, the whole deal. This picture here, I'm sitting on the couch and I smile, but inside it's it's just.
Did you want to give up?
Well, I don't lie to people. I tell people there was a point of my name's Jacob, and I give people this description because I'm from a church upbringing and background. Is, well, I guess I was named that for a reason, because got to wrestle with God some days, and I had a couple wrestle with God moments, because of just everything.
Do you feel?
But my mentality through that, the piercing thing, was those two things that kept piercing through, which was, don't give up, don't give in, and then all this love that was around me, and the blessing of just everybody, not only my family, but then I had other people call or show up that I wouldn't have thought would have even cared 2 cents. There was a couple musicians that I've done certain things with that, oh hey, their schedule's too busy, whatever, and stuff like that. But they stopped by, and actually a couple of them, gave me positive vibes and prayers and things like that. So just that blessing of outpouring love just kind of pierced through all of that. And that's what I tell people now, is I just say, there is a promise to live, is what I call it. And so don't give up or give in. Just try to pierce through that.
Do you feel like you had a near-death experience?
I think I looked at the Grim Reaper in the face a few times, if I ain't gonna lie about it.
Well, there's near-death experiences where you're in a car wreck, your life flashes past you, maybe you go into a coma for you go out. You talk about these
and
ideas
I had said, I've had some experiences in my life already. So and I don't, everybody's life is different. Some people get it, rosy sunshine. Some people, we have to work for it. We have to, whatever. And I was raised really well, and nods to all four parents I had, because I'm from a blended family. But like, the divorces I went through, and then I was in a car accident myself when I was younger. But like, I had blacked out, so I hadn't any recollection. But then, I was better the next day, and it was no big deal. But
I suppose.
But I feel like I look at those moments, those kind of things, and I tell people, like, I don't feel like I would have had the same mentality to get through this situation as I did if those things wouldn't have happened. Because like, you go back, and I say to people, well, like, I was raised well, but my parents separated, and my mom was trying to find a church, and she put us in church youth group, and that impacted my life to have kind of this never give up faith mentality here locally, and I feel like, that's like one of the people that called me that was totally unexpected was like my youth pastor from that era of my life. And he had said, he goes, "Oh, I know you, and I know you got more in you, and you're not gonna, give into this, and you're gonna get through it, And it's like, I don't know if what he said stuck with me, or just the power of already kind of like fighting through certain things.
Was there ever a time in your fight that you had a call on a higher power? Or do you feel like you already had it in you? Because you're kind of built a certain way.
Right.
For example, like, obviously you have a high tolerance of pain.
Yeah.
I feel like if someone slugged you in the face right now, you're like, I don't care, it doesn't hurt. I've had worse things, right?
Yeah. At this point, yeah.
You've said things like, even just a few minutes ago, you said, I've gone through divorces. That when you say things like that, it makes me remember that I think people forget that when you're a kid and something bad happens to you, that's the worst thing that's ever happened to you at that time.
Right.
And then when you have something else happen to you later that's a little bit more difficult than that, then that's the worst thing that's ever happened to you.
And I thought a couple years before this, like I told you that I was told by my bonus mom, her mentality was, because just 3 years before this is my dad leaving, and
leaving the earth?
Yeah, leaving the earth.
Leaving his physical body?
Yeah, rest in peace,
Okay.
Yeah, he passed away. And the whole time, she's now told me that the whole time that she visited me in the hospital or would see me or whatever, was just saying the whole time, like, we ain't going to go through this again.
Yeah.
And I think that, you have that, like, there's this, I don't know, I call it like this, just like, you call it higher power. I think there's also, like, even if you don't believe in something, there's still a spiritual electricity that's all around us, like that love factor that we can't explain, we can't put a thing on,
That's why I'm real careful to call it higher power, because I don't want anybody to ever hear this.
Because I felt like that was what
this into a religious God thing, because if that's already built into me personally,
right.
And I feel like it is kind of built into you too.
Right, and I tell people that, did I have faith? Sure. Did I believe in God when this happened? Yeah. But is that the only thing that got me through this? No. Like, like there's a couple other factors here that, like, made me want to live life. Like, I'm not, there was a different kind of thing to it.
Yeah, so like, I like to tap into that on a daily basis. I'm not always very good at it. You can tell if you ever catch me in a bad moment where I'm kind of like snarly or not really happy. I mean, I'm generally an extremely happy person, just because I think that I've seen. So I'll tell you right now, I have seen. It's very rare that I come into a contact like a person of your strength. Okay, I'm just telling you this right now. It's very rare. You are not a normal. You're not of average strength.
No,
you are above average strength. The only other person that I can really tell you that's close to me, very close to me, that I have seen go through something like that is my biological father, who suffered and suffered and suffered. And the only reason why he didn't come out of it was because his circumstances were different. But it's, you know.
Well, yeah, like that's what amazed me, because I tell people, like the shirt says, you know, there was a fear, you know, there was a, okay, yeah, I do believe in faith, God, and all that stuff, but when somebody says that you might not make it this far, like they're giving you the facts. Like the doctor is not making this like, oh wait, like it ain't a hopeful speech he's giving you. It's not a, you know, inspirational thing he's saying. It's the facts. Like, you know,
and that's good and bad.
Right.
That's good and bad. I do like the
and
fact,
so
though,
what I
yeah.
kind of told myself is like, well, what's the other thing that's going to help me through this? And one of those things was like compared to when, like, you know, and you know, this is what I tell people too, is that like compared to like when your dad was around, and like even just a few years ago when they were trying to help my dad and his situation, because that was a pancreatic issue, is the information and the research and the like everything that they can do now is just, so that's what I told myself, is I was like, well, the more I ask, the more I inform myself of what's going on with my body, what's happening with it, what they are putting in me, just all this kind of stuff, you know. And sometimes, like, you're not supposed to hold on to the, like, people in your room, really, because they have jobs, like they have the whole rest of the floor to take care of. But like I would try to talk to them for a half an hour, because I'd be like, I want to know, and to then have that courage to just get through the situation, you know.
What's your
So like this guy here, his name was Nurse Will.
Okay.
And he's like, I gotta go check on other patients, but like he's like, I'll be back and explain it to you.
Yeah, because you're talking his ear off.
Right.
But like he wants to help you, and that's his job.
Right,
But
yeah.
he also wants to.
Yeah.
On top of it, he's getting paid to do something he loves to do.
Right.
But also he's got like 22 other people
Right.
down the hall. What is your advice for the normal person in the Quincy area that is just living their life? They're working their job. Maybe they're married, maybe they're unmarried, maybe they have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, they're single, not single, kids, no kids, and they're living life and they're struggling. They're depressed.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the
good.
things that I have came out of this and seen, because I have just recently like got back to normal, like, so I've just recently got back to like the working world and the
land of the living.
Yeah, getting to the gas station to get whatever I want, things like that, you know. But one thing I see is what you just said, and I'm not acting like that anymore. And I tell myself like here's this person who looks like they're about to, like, not to try to sound bad about this, but about to like go out and run in front of the car because of their anxiety or their depression or their whatever. And here's me now, like I don't even think about that stuff like anymore. Like I don't have any thoughts like that. I don't have.
Do you have anxiety over normal life stuff?
No.
It's gone?
Yeah, it's gone. Like, yeah, because, and what I tell people is don't go through this or go through any traumatic situation. Like, you know, like I mentioned, you know, Jeremy Renner, and Jeremy Renner's book is My Last Breath, and it's about him getting ran over by a snowcat.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I say don't go through stage 4 cancer or get ran over by a snowcat to figure this out. Like, please, everybody, like, don't do it. You know?
Don't, yeah.
Like, don't wait for that moment.
Yeah, like, don't wait for something terrible to happen to you or your loved one so you can get perspective.
Right.
Because you were telling me earlier, when you and I were texting back and forth, you used the P word.
Yeah.
And
yeah, perspective is the only thing I found out that we can control. So like, we can only control when we wake up and have a perspective on things.
Is it the audiobook by Jeremy Renner is My Next Breath?
Yeah, My Next Breath, yeah.
A memoir.
Yeah.
And he recently...
And it's about him and pretty much the very similar circumstances, like trauma, recovery, you know, treatment, things like that. but he got ran over by a 14,000-pound snowcat.
Mangled him, should have killed him.
Yeah.
And shoulda, we got to be careful.
Right.
Like, oh, he should have died. Oh,
Right.
So-and-so should have died.
Or
like,
that's
well,
what I've had a couple people say. Oh, hey, some negative thoughts about me, and I've had a couple negative people say, oh, well, you should have whatever, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, for one, yeah, there was certain things I may have wake up and I may have not done something right to somebody else or whatever. We all do that, but at the same end of the day, I've now made apologies for certain things, and then the second thing is now I've learned that there's poverty, depression, war, whatever. Like there is all reasons, and I'm not trying to advocate for this, especially on your show, to say I don't want to be in this world, but like there's also a whole bunch of reasons to say you should be here, and it's about perspective, and it's about like waking up and saying, hey, when you just look at the most simplest thing, am I okay? And that's what I would say to everybody else. Like, are you still breathing? Because like I found out, that's something I had to just simplify it and think about.
And be happy about that you're still, still breathing.
Like, are you still alive? like you got to simplify it to that.
I had somebody the other day say, how many breaths have you ever, hold on a second. She told me, she asked me, how many breaths do you think you've taken so far in this life? And I said, I don't know. She's like, well, here's how many breaths you take. A human takes in a day. How many days have you been alive? It's a very easy calculation, Frank. And how many breaths do you think you're going to have left? Well, I can look and calculate the number of breaths that I've taken, but I do not know the number of breaths I've left. You see, I see this big pile of breaths. Mm-hmm. Some people are trying to make a big pile of money, or some people are trying to like land the right car, or the right,
or impress the right person,
or maybe
pay the right thing,
or maybe just impress themselves.
Right.
They're trying to gain what? What are they trying to gain?
I'll be real, and I'll say, I was in that too. Like I was, like, oh, what is something I can do to, get people together, and what is something I can do as a job to make everything okay, or whatever. And I've learned now, like that's not what it is.
Tell you what, you are not only are you a survivor, but you're a fighter. I'm very impressed by you. I remember a long time ago when you and I were DMing on Facebook, and when I don't really watch my newsfeed, read my newsfeed on Facebook very often, mm-hmm. but yours came up a lot. So here's what's really weird. I don't know if this is divine intervention or what, but there are certain people.
It's that spiritual electricity I was talking about.
Spiritual electricity, yeah. I love that spiritual electricity, because I know, it's not that I believe in it, I can feel that. I'm kind of sensitive to it. Mm-hmm. And there's times where when I don't tap into it, I'm for the worse. And when I do tap into it, I'm for the better. But here's what was going on is sometimes in my personal email, I will get things like, so-and-so posted an update. And I think to myself, why am I getting this person's email?
Yeah.
Why am I getting this?
Why is the algorithm getting?
And then what happens is at some point in time, it comes full back around and like, okay, now I know I'm getting this update. Yours was coming up in my email all the time. I don't have like a special follow for you.
Right.
I mean, I think you're awesome, but also like I didn't know you didn't know you very well, but it kept on saying Jacob Conrad Messmer posted an update. So I went into Facebook. I'm like, what is so important? And so it was talking about your journey. And then I was watching you. I'm just going to tell you right now. This is what I don't want to say. This is like the climax of the big thing that I want to tell you. You made it through, and you are victorious. And no matter what happens, you did something that almost very few people can do. You've already accomplished something. If the Lord or the spiritual energy wants to take me in my sleep tonight, so be it. But I will tell you, same thing with you. If you live 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 more years,
right,
so be it. But when I saw that journey that you're going through, I gotta tell you how terrible I felt. Because to me, unbeknownst to me, I was wrong about you. As like a casual observer of somebody in Quincy, seeing somebody go through that, it gave me perspective. I was a little bit nicer to my coworkers when I got off my computer because I just saw what you're going through. I saw you lose your hair.
Right. Yeah.
I saw
a lot
the words
a lot
you
of people
used.
said that, like what you're
Jake,
saying. Yeah.
Jake, I'm watching this and I am struck. Like, I mean, I thought
Because I had also like lost like
Jake,
100 and something pounds.
I'm
and,
telling
it
you,
looked completely different.
I was watching a man die. I was watching you die, okay? And to have you here to be victorious and beat it and I know you're in remission and it's in recovery and I know, listen, anything can happen to any of us.
Well, it's what a nurse told me just recently. A nurse that I've had care for me this whole year surprised me, like dropped a note bomb and just kind of said to me about a month ago. She said don't let what you went through be downplayed because you're still here and you might have something that will help somebody else.
Will you come back in a year?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.